Travis Wayne Goodsell. J.B. Croft, whom I've had to report a number of times, but YouTube is not getting rid of him, has done it again. It was on my video, LDS Church President Russell M. Nelson turns Mormons into anti-Semites. That should concern Mormons. This isn't something you take lightly and dismiss easily and quickly. This is a serious claim that I'm making. Mormons don't want to be known as anti-Semites, do you? And so you don't want to just say, nope, fake news, nothing to see here. Disgruntled Mormon, left the church. How many of you know my story? None? Dear God, is nobody following me? I didn't leave the church. I'm still a member. I just never went through and did the official signing to the bishop. And in so doing, it gets the church in greater trouble because of financial fraud situations. But he says he's referring to me. He's trying to incite the public against me. This is why he's a danger. This is why I keep reporting him, and YouTube won't do it. They'd rather punish me for warning you about the dangers that you face. He left the church, but can't leave the church alone. Oh, that's so clever. I bet that's original. But yeah, he doesn't care to know who I am. He's already turned me into the other. He saw the title, I'm the other. It's automatically wrong, whatever it is I'm saying. This is what Mormons do to protect themselves from reality. They make excuses, they make justifications, they make apologies, they make lies, so that they can live in a bubble and hope that the bubble doesn't burst. Oh, I do have a bursting bubble that I can put the... Well, let's see. But, yeah, I never left the church. And so why am I not leaving the church alone? Because you're not watching my channel to know why. The church attacked me first. They drew first blood. It's the church who let me go and can't leave me alone. That which you falsely accuse of another reveals the same and worse fault in yourself. Beam and mote, for those of you who haven't gained a testimony of it yet, like I just demonstrated. See, because notice I didn't quote beam and mote. I demonstrated I had a testimony of beam and mote. Whereas he just quoted somebody else's. He plagiarized, to use Bednar's example that he set for Mormons in conference. But yeah, he's claiming that's his line, even though he does put it in quotes. He doesn't acknowledge who it is that's saying that, but yeah, he's using somebody else's words to attack me and incite you guys against me. He doesn't understand there's plenty of incitement against me already. I think I'm at the point where they just need to assassinate me. And that would be the end of me. And they're having a difficult time with that. You'd think it would be easy for a 200-year-old criminal organization that is known for their murders. But, yeah, I was doing the video this morning and noticed that Nelson pulled another fast one on you Mormons, and you didn't realize it. Not even my ex, who notified me of the change in the law of chastity, noticed it. It is the law of the gospel. And the addition, bring it up here, because I made a snapshot of the video that I have. And so, here it is. We are required to give unto you the law of the gospel. The original continues as contained in the Holy Scriptures. Okay, so originally we had to read the Scriptures to learn what the law of the gospel is. And the Beatitudes, the Book of Mormon videos that came out. Higher law. He's given the Beatitudes from the Sermon on the Mount. But he added 2019, we are required to give unto you the law of the gospel, which is the higher law taught by Jesus Christ, as contained in the Holy Scriptures. And I did the video discussing the higher law that Nelson brought up in conference. Nobody believes in the higher law. Nobody. In fact, I told you that when I was working as on the footnotes, the revised footnotes, they came out in 2009, our committee group, which is the top committee, which means, in case you don't understand, we are the smartest Mormons in the church. The best and the brightest. And even we discussed this as there were rumors and movements to try to talk about this, but we all acknowledged there is no such thing. Doesn't exist. And so what is Nelson doing with higher law? Because if it doesn't exist as a higher law, what is it that he's talking about? Well, 3 kingdoms of glory. The highest degree of the celestial kingdom is for marriage, for married couples. The other kingdoms are not for married couples. And so any of you who remember the old books by old apostles before they became presidents, talking about the anatomical conditions of the resurrected beings of those of lesser glories. If you're not going to procreate, then there's no need for certain body parts. and so anciently, that's partly why you had eunuchs. Not just to keep them from impregnating the queen, but also because they're slaves. They aren't royalty. And I've warned you of the danger of the church. I warned you, I warned you, and I warned you, and I still warn you with the latest videos. And I get a comment by a Mormon who says, I don't see where slavery is involved. I don't get it. Did you not read the part of ministering is the Latin word? It hasn't been translated yet. Translating ministry into English is slavery. There's slavery in them their gospels. And that's why there's been such abuse for slavery in our nation and around the world because of the particular translation of the King James Version. Masters would use those scriptures that slaves need to obey their masters. That's where it comes from. And there's some problems with the translation of the original documents, as I've gone over yesterday, I believe, about getting the Bible translated correctly. I don't remember the title. But the higher law he's referring to is celestial kingdom. And the higher law comes from Brigham Young. That's why I have to keep putting it in there, keep reminding you every time I bring up section 132 of the Doctrine and Covenants. Because the church has purposely deceived CNN, who did fast facts of the church. And they are claiming, because apparently they were told, that Joseph Smith put that in, that it's his, that he put it in the Doctrine and Covenants edition of 1835. We have the Joseph Smith papers. CNN could access the Joseph Smith papers. News and press can now reference the Joseph Smith papers, rather than just trusting whatever the church tells them. This is what a journalist, investigative journalist, is supposed to do. They're not just supposed to report what they're told to report. They're supposed to investigate. They're supposed to fact check. They're supposed to confirm. They're supposed to dig to see what's not being told. And if you haven't noticed, Utah News will not investigate the church, because there's a whole lot to investigate. Just watch my channel. They won't touch the church because of the church's leverage over them. They're all scared of the church because they know that they will end up exactly what the church did to me. And so the higher law is polygamy. That's a code word, because it's celestial law, and in order to go to the celestial kingdom, according to section 132, you have to be polygamous. And only those who are high priests get polygamous wives. So what did Nelson do in his solemn assembly conference? We're moving the high priest to the elders' quorum. No more high priest group. And I did the videos back then, and even men did not understand it. Because, yeah, those who are already high priests are still high priests. They're being grandfathered out of the church. Only leaders of the church will become high priest now. Because if you're in the elders' quorum, and everybody's in the elders' quorum, there's no need to grandfather up a retired man to become a high priest anymore. Did you not know that that was the practice? When a man is 55 years old, the stake president's direction can make a man a high priest if he had not become a high priest through leadership positions. And now that's all done away with. So what does that mean? It means that we're going to have a whole bunch of slaves to the leaders of the church who are going to have polygamous wives. We are required to give unto you the law of the gospel, which is the higher law taught by Jesus Christ. Nowhere does he teach about polygamy. He's referring to section 132. This is the danger that they pose to this nation and to you. Because all of you elders who think that you get to keep your wife, have you not heard about what the Danites accused Joseph of? They accused Joseph of going to married women and taking them as a wife. And the church hasn't told us the truth that it was the Danites who framed Joseph Smith. And you're not listening to me when I do the research videos. When I expose it with bombshells. Like Orange White, for example. You're going, Orange White, who's that? Exactly. You're not watching my videos. Mormons think that if they don't watch my videos, then they won't be held accountable for the messages that I give, for the exposure of the church that I give, so that they can then justify coming to a video of a title they are offended with, come on, put their hate comment, put a thumbs down, and leave. Can't be saved in ignorance. We all know this. But Mormons still try to get away with whatever they can, thinking there's a loophole somewhere. There is no loopholes, Mormons. There's only one law, and that's love. That's it. The 3 degrees is a completely different subject matter. So, I was hoping that these sex trafficking videos would be bombshells and would be my breakout videos beyond the breakouts that I'm sort of getting. YouTube has too much power over me.